So if none of those people that created the wealth of the world had work-life balance, why do you think you're going to have it?
What my deal is all about is growing geometrically, quantumly. I hate to hear people tell me my business is running smoothly, everything's great.
Follow what you're passionate about, what you love. If it's not work if you love what you're doing. Okay. Most people, when I say they're living quiet lives of desperation, is because they're involved in a business or a job that they don't enjoy, they're not passionate about. Okay. So if you found something that you're passionate about, that it doesn't matter if you work 3 hours a day or 13 hours a day, that's where you start. And most people aren't there. Most people have to find that. It's unbelievable, but again, you are who you hang around with, you know? And as Oprah Winfrey says, and which I talk about a lot, is that you want people with a like mind and that are better than you, smarter than you, more intelligent than you to get on your bus. And don't be so concerned about what you're going to do with those people, but you want to, you know, the joint brain is, you know, there's nothing the joint brain, collective brain or brains can't overcome. And I give the example of the atomic bomb, the Manhattan Project. If your team doesn't look like that, then you should, I won't say you should give serious thought, you should just change. Perfection equals paralysis. If you left it to engineers, no car would ever come off the assembly line. No car would ever come off the assembly line. And I've been in business with enough engineers, I can attest to that with my hand on my heart. They'd still be trying to make it better. And the internet business is very much the same. The internet kids want to test and test and test. Roll it out. The great thing about the internet is your results are instantaneous. I mean, if something that I'm overseeing at the Concord level, 60,000 feet, doesn't work in 2 days, forget about it, move on. And today at our meeting, now the young kids are, we ran it 3 days, sir, and we closed it down. And they are thinking I'm gonna ask why. I said, no, that's fine, next. Because without them making mistakes and without them being allowed to make the decision, they never get any better. And 95% of the time, I know probably better than they do, but we're never going to be able to know everything or have them know everything unless, and they will never know everything, but unless they make some mistakes and get comfortable with making mistakes. Clausewitz, the famous Prussian general, said, focus on the few, not the many. And the most common error that I see in reasonably successful businessmen and women are that they try to do too many things. And focus on the few, not the many. And to practice success before you're successful. One of the stories, and I know Peter remembers it, before I had any money, I used to go to the Rolls-Royce dealers and sit in the cars and smell the leather.
Most of you lack the skills to sell your vision with clarity because you don't practice, and the travesty really is because you don't believe enough in it. You really don't. What you're trying to finance isn't your dream, isn't your vision. I mean, the banker or the person on the other side of the table sees through it clearly. They know just absolutely, definitively. Because at the end of the day, they want to feel down deep inside, warm and fuzzy, that this person or this person will do whatever it takes to pay me back the money. And if you don't believe with all your heart, then you're not going to, go that extra mile. And look for something that you can passionately believe in. Is that so difficult?
Another one of my great influencers is Toyota automobile. He wrote a book called The Toyota Way, and he said, constant supervised stress. Constant supervised, actually I think he used the word organized, stress. It means keep people accountable, just like Peter Sage says.
Right.
Keep people, what gets measured gets accomplished. And I have signs on most of the business I'm involved in. When you walk in the door, there's a big thing about as big as that painting there. What gets measured gets accomplished. Without measurement, you're just fooling yourself.
Arguably the greatest CEO in the history of the world, who managed in General Electric for 20, 25 years. He said there is no work-life balance. There are work-life challenges, and we make decisions and we live with them. Do you think Elon Musk has work-life balance? No. Do you think Steve Jobs, when he was alive, had work-life balance? No. Do you think Bill Gates? No. Henry Ford? No. So if none of those people that created the wealth of the world had work-life balance, why do you think you're going to have it? Why? Because you deserve it? I don't think so. You deserve what you get in life by working hard.
I tell the kids all the time, if we were at war, we'd all be dead. See, you're used to making mistakes, and nothing happens. For the few of you in the military in here, you know mistakes can cost lives. Our kids are millennials, but they're not. I mean, you'd think that they were Godzilla, Attila the Hun, and Genghis Khan compared to the other millennials.
I love myself. My wife, God bless her, would say, I worship the ground Dan walks on, but my love for him is transitory for the love he has for himself. Self-esteem. If you don't love yourself, you can't be a good husband, a good father, a good anything. Love you first.
If you are not experiencing anxiety, if your problems are not replaced as soon as you solve one with a bigger one that's geometrically bigger, then you're not growing. I hate to hear people tell me my business is running smoothly, everything's great. Well, then he might as well, or she might as well blow their brains out, because they sure as hell aren't growing. What my deal is all about is growing geometrically, quantumly. And just remember that, and keep an open mind. Because I have been there and done that. There's no question about that. Just because you haven't done it, just because you've never been around somebody that hasn't done it, and just because you've never heard of it, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Because absence of evidence is not evidence of their absence. I'm going to say some things that are real foreign to you. Some things that you've been taught by your parents, your grandparents in school, and basically all that is crap. So just keep an open mind. The high performance people that I will continue to allude to all day long live in a different world than you. They came from the same world as you did, but they live in a different world.
Best advice I ever got from Mr. Grazos, do it. He didn't say just do it. And the best advice I've ever given anybody is just, we take too much time procrastinating. And because we're afraid of failure. And I can go through a whole litany of bullshit. Now, it's not bullshit because it's not true. Litany of stuff why you are where you are because you just didn't do it. You didn't want to make a mistake. But the bottom line is, if you had 15 years ago you had just done it, 10 years ago you had just done it, 5 years ago if you had just done it, 6 months ago if you just done it, you probably wouldn't be in the position you're in now. You know why? Because and if you don't find something that you love what you do, don't bother. Because if you don't have a passion for what you do and you love, it gets old. It's like a significant other that you've been around too much. Well, if you're not passionate about what you do in life, it gets old, and then it becomes work. And as soon as it becomes work, you're finished. The reason why I'm fired up
at the end of a 6-7 day week of 15, 18 hours a day is because I'm passionate about pulling you sorry asses across the goal line.